Canada Travel Guide. Dazzling view, lively urban communities and an inviting climate all make Canada a famous traveler objective. As the biggest country in North America, Canada is situated in the northernmost district of the landmass, lined by the cold sea on the north and the US on the south. Canada is a tremendous land incorporating lofty mountains, marvelous shorelines, virgin timberlands, extensive grasslands and cold tundra. While a significant part of the country is of English and French drop, Canada is home to a mosaic of multicultural networks. The nation's flourishing and neighborliness draw many individuals from everywhere the world. In spite of the fact that Ottawa is the country's capital and government seat, Toronto is the biggest city and capital for culture, shopping, diversion and media. Other significant urban areas incorporate Montreal with its lovely parks, Vancouver valued for its high mountains, and Quebec City known for its French legacy and engineering. Canada is most popular for its colder time of year sports like elevated skiing and ice hockey, as well as renowned celebrations like the Calgary Rush and Toronto Film Celebration. Famous attractions outside the huge urban communities are Niagara Falls, Whistler Ski Resort and Banff Public Park. 12 most ideal getaway spots in Canada. Home Travel Guides. Canada divided by 12 most ideal getaway spots in Canada. 12 most ideal getaway destinations in Canada. This republic nation is really the world's second biggest. A large portion of that land region, notwithstanding, is finished wild. That is unquestionably one of the draws of Canada, the completely huge spreads of nature to undoubtedly become mixed up in. Its public parks are really gigantic, offering completely flawless vistas. Mountaineering, climbing, sailing, swimming, cycling, there's a ton of remunerations here on the off chance that you seriously love nature. Spot mountain bears in Banff Public Park. Hit the powdered slants of Whistler or taste your direction through a portion of Vancouver's freshest wild salmon. There's something in Canada for everybody. Away from the dazzling idea of Canada, additionally including the incomparable lakes locale, you can investigate its way of life and history. Stall out into the francophone area of Quebec, the shining high-rises and East Asian culture pockets in Vancouver, Toronto's rich Victorian engineering, and Canada's shadow-style stupendous railroad lodgings and neo-Gothic public structures in Ottawa. Plan your outing to this magnificent travel objective in North America with our rundown of the most ideal getaway destinations in Canada. 1. Banff Public Park. Concealed in the Canadian Rockies, Banff Public Park is the most seasoned public park in Canada, and furthermore quite possibly of its biggest. In light of its sheer size and distant area, many individuals are attracted to this immaculate piece of the globe for the disconnection alone. Beyond Banff and Lake Louise, the recreation area's two marks of civilization, that is, there are two well-known courses through the recreation area. However, it doesn't make any difference in excessive amount of which you pick. Both are loaded up with stunning landscape, from sparkling multi-hued lakes and emotional gulches to wonderful perspectives and glorious cascades. Whether you have your own vehicle isn't significant, as Transports Administration the majority of the vital attractions in the recreation area. Dynamic explorers will be right at home here with the opportunity to snowshoe or oar the lake, while untamed life watchers will have their very own undertaking. All Banff Public Park is loaded up with creatures, the most anxiously expected to locate being, obviously, the mountain bear. The town of Banff is the recreation area's essential settlement, offering the most assortment of housing, shopping and feasting. Gotten to by the Icefields Road, Lake Louise offers rich convenience and a dazzling setting of turquoise lakes and magnificent mountains. Lake Minnewanka and Daylight Glades are other more modest towns. 2. Vancouver. The huge city of Vancouver is one of the biggest in Canada. Situated in southwestern English Columbia, it's a renowned foodie area of interest, particularly for fish, similar to its praised newly gotten prawns and wild salmon. On account of its blend of societies, you'll track down no deficiency of blended food here, making feasting out one of the city's basic, however in no way, shape or form misjudged, delights. Vancouver's star fascination is Stanley Park. Covering 1,000 sections of land of forests, gardens and green spaces, this park includes an aquarium, water park and the pleasant seawall. A portion of Vancouver's other top locales incorporate Granville Island's surprising food market, and Canada Spot's waterfront complex lodging the Vancouver Conference Hall. One of Vancouver's most well-known area is Chinatown with its energetic cluster of shops, eateries and dazzling nurseries. Nicknamed the Hollywood of the North due to its enormous television and entertainment world, Vancouver is likewise home to the fourth biggest journey transport terminal on the planet. Upwards of 900,000 travelers go through the terminal consistently, with many travels advancing onwards to the frozen north. With the two seashores and ski slants inside simple reach, Vancouver has been evaluated as one of the world's best urban areas to live in. home to cheerful and dynamic individuals who go through their days rollerblading, running, and canine strolling along in the seawall or playing a round of volleyball on Kitsilano Ocean side. Vancouver is a major objective for outdoorsy exercises. Try not to pass on without the opportunity to take a plunge in Canada's longest pool. It's very nearly multiple times the size of an ordinary Olympic pool. 3. Niagara Falls. Niagara Falls is a progression of 3 sensational cascades arranged on the boundary of Canada's Ontario and the U.S.'s New York. The Ontario side of the falls is called Horseshoe Falls and offers the best perspectives and most attractions. The quick region encompassing the falls is a chief place of interest, overflowing in perception towers, eateries, gift shops, gambling clubs, and tall structure lodgings. Its sister city in New York is known as the wedding trip capital of the world, and one of the main spots where you can get a marriage permit without a holding up period. Those searching for both sentiment and experience will think that it is here, with a not insignificant rundown of invigorating things to see and do. One of the most amazing puts to see the Niagara Falls on the Ontario side is from Sovereign Victoria Park, where the falls are enlightened and firecrackers are shown daily throughout the mid-year. See them from a higher place or beneath, it's your decision. With helicopter visits, flyboat visits, a perception deck close to Skyline Pinnacle, and lifts that bring you down behind the falls. 4. Montreal. Montreal is the second biggest city in the Quebec territory, found where the St. Lawrence and Ottawa waterways meet. Montreal is Canada's capital of culture. It's likewise one of the most different, vigorous, inviting, and groundbreaking urban communities in North America, with current road workmanship, a lively variety of performers, and an extraordinary party scene in its fresher parts. While English is spoken, it's not the most normal language. It's really the second biggest city on the planet to communicate in French as a first language beyond France. So it's not difficult to see the reason why it's acquired its moniker as the Paris of North America. Montreal's cityscape is a delight to visit throughout the entire year. It's particularly gorgeous in harvest time when the trees turn consumed orange around the notable cityscape. Old Montreal is the feature with its cobbled roads, curious exhibition halls, and authentic structures, some of which date back to the 1700 years. Try not to botch the opportunity to scale the clock tower in the Quai de l'Horloge for a few extraordinary perspectives over the St. Lawrence waterway and the city somewhere far off. Invigorating shopping areas incorporate the Midtown Underground perplexing, the Carrefour Laval Shopping Centre, and the beautiful Bonseckers Market. 5. Toronto. The rambling city of Toronto is the most thickly populated city in Canada, with almost 3 million occupants. Situated on the shores of Lake Ontario, Toronto frames part of the brilliant Horseshoe District, which envelops the region from the lake to Niagara Falls. As the common capital of the Ontario area, Toronto is likewise perhaps of the most multicultural city on the planet, with barely short of 100 ethnic networks calling it home. It's one of the main spots in Canada where the greater part of the occupants were not brought into the world in the country. However, this mixture makes Toronto what it is. A portion of the road signs are written in various dialects, and different areas have their own unmistakable food. There's such a lot of culture to be found on the wrong side of the tracks, legitimate among its transcending high-rises and large number of multi-social eateries. Perhaps of the most famous fascination on the Traveller Trail is the CN Pinnacle, the tallest unattached construction on the planet. It offers an uncommon continuous perspective on the city from its perception deck, skypod, and the 360 Cafe. Be that as it may, it's worth the effort for a ride up in the glass-encased lift alone. 6. Quebec City. Quebec City might be the capital of the Quebec region in eastern Canada, yet its French legacy, engineering and language cause it to show up more like an enchanting European town. Roosted on a slope sitting above the St. Lawrence waterways via Quebec, the city's architecturally significant area, which is the main North American city actually holding its unique walls. A stroll along the cobblestone roads of the old city offers experiences with old structures like the fortress and memorable locales like the Spot Royal, the region where traveler Samuel de Champlain laid out the main North American French settlement. Bistros, shops and bars are sprinkled all through the old city. The city's symbol, the shocking manor Frontenac, is viewed as the most shot lodging in North America and offers visits even without a short-term visit. Another great inn is the Ice Inn. Open from January to April, this exceptional inn highlights rooms with delightful ice figures. Outside the downtown area are a few lovely and noteworthy parks like Montgomery Falls and Fields of Abraham, which offer stunning cascades, open-air entertainment and history of the area. 7. Vancouver Island. Vancouver Island, named after the English traveler George Vancouver, is the biggest island off the west shore of the North American landmass. Encircled by the waters of the Pacific, it's a genuinely attractive island loaded up with flickering lakes, great cascades, mystical fjords, and frosty mountains that are prominently investigated by climbers. Outdoorsy voyagers are drawn in by the climate. It has the mildest environment in Canada. The island is most popular for the exquisite bush art nurseries, the surf town of Tofino and the wild in the north, where one can get a ship to ruler Rupert, and one more to Gold Country from that point. Vancouver Island is likewise an untamed life area of interest. Besides the fact that it offers probably the best whale watching on the planet, you might kayak with orca, but on the other hand it's an incredible spot for bird watching and mountain bear sightings, as the island is scantily populated. With the majority of the populace living in Victoria, the capital of BC, you can truly absorb the enchantment of the outside. One of the most mind-blowing places for a stroll in nature is in Strathcona Commonplace Park, where you'll view is the greater part of the terrific landscape on the island. Visit Church Building Woods with its antiquated timberland, or start on one of the numerous incredible fairways. 8. Whistler. Because of 2 or 3 awesome mountains called Whistler and Blackcomb, the Whistler Resort is the biggest and most popular elevated ski objective in North America. Situated in the coast heaps of English Columbia and Western Canada, Whistler is a 2-hour trip from Vancouver along Canada's most beautiful drive, the Ocean to Sky Thruway. At the foundation of the 2 mountains are 3 interesting towns: Whistler Town, Creekside and Upper Town. The Pinnacle gondola transports guests from the towns to the mountains. Whistler had humble starting points as a logging town. After the 1960 Olympics in Squaw Valley, a ski resort was based on London Mountain as a likely objective for the 1968 Winter Olympics. Nonetheless, this wasn't accomplished until the 2010 Winter Olympics. While trying to control away from its deceptive name, London Mountain was renamed Whistler Mountain on account of the whistle-like sound made by the local ancient marmots living in the mountains here. Today, Whistler has numerous elite ski resorts and offers remarkable perspectives from its mountain slants that bring explorers back a large number of years. Besides snow sports, the mountains likewise make for incredible climbing and rock getting over valuable open doors. 9. Ottawa. Situated at the gathering point of 3 streams, Ottawa is Canada's capital city, home to the 6th biggest populace in the nation, and developing. Surprisingly, the city is bilingual. Expect to hear individuals talking a blend of English and French, both are first dialects here. Recently known as Bytown, Ottawa was once a timber town, with many factories worked along the Ottawa Waterway in the 19th 100 years. Today, it's a lovely green city loaded up with euphoric parks and streams. Trekking is famous in the late spring months, and these paths are changed over completely to ski trails come winter. Running directly through the core of the city, the Rideau Waterway is a should visit. In winter, the waterway turns into the world's biggest ice skating ring. One of the most compelling activities is visit the Byward Market. Yet, in the event that you're keen on history, you're in for a treat. While it may not be Canada's true social capital, Ottawa is home to a few stupendous memorable structures, like the Public Library and Documents, the 4th biggest library on the planet. As the country's capital, Ottawa is home to numerous administrative foundations including Parliament Slope, the public authority seat where the formal top-down reorganizing happens day to day throughout the late spring. 10. Cape Breton Island. While it's situated in northeastern Nova Scotia, Cape Breton Island was once its own free settlement until it had to converge in 1820. As it invited large number of Scottish expats in the mid-19th 100 years, it stays the main spot in North America where you'll hear Gaelic spoken, with a large group of conventional Scottish music shows on offer. Notwithstanding the Scots, Cape Breton likewise has a solid French populace, with the 18th century fort of Louisbourg a significant feature. An entrancing Micmac people group adds to the charming combination of social impacts. Whale watching here is remarkable. Sightings are just about ensured at the northern tip, which you can reach with a boat or kayak visit. The landscape alone makes it worth the outing. Among its fantastic scenes, the feature is without a doubt Cape Breton High Country's public park with its marvelous Cabot Trail and exquisite post focuses. Remember the grand fishing towns like Sound St. Lawrence, where you'll discover some astounding fish. 11. Churchill. It might just be an unassuming community of 1,000 occupants, yet Churchill draws tremendous groups consistently to see its most well-known occupants, the polar bears. Nicknamed the polar bear capital of the world, Churchill is situated in the Manitoba Territory on the Hudson Strait shore. Notwithstanding polar bears, Churchill is additionally the spot to go for survey beluga whales, birds and the aurora borealis. The best opportunity to see polar bears in Churchill is October and November when the bears relocate to the shores, chasing after marine food. The travel industry here gives visits and vehicles called tundra carriages for the well-being of the 2 vacationers and the bears. In the mid-year months, visit activities take individuals out on the water to see the beluga whales, which relocate here in huge numbers. A few travelers even wear bathing suits and swim with the whales. With in excess of 270 types of birds, Churchill is likewise a birdwatcher's heaven. Large number of birders visit the region each late spring to see species like frigid owls, geofalcons, brace sandpipers and tundra swans. Churchill additionally presents a fantastic spot to see the aurora borealis, or aurora borealis. Typically, the rush hour to see this regular wonder is among January and walk. The essential approaches to arriving at Churchill are via plane and train. Train associations are from Winnipeg and Thompson. 12. Calgary, the biggest city in Alberta. Calgary is arranged between the Canadian grasslands and the lower regions of the Canadian Rockies. After oil was found close by in the mid-1900 seconds, Calgary blasted into what is currently perhaps of Canada's biggest metropolitan region, drawing in thousands consistently to its undeniably popular rodeo occasion, the Calgary Charge. While Calgary is included a few areas, the Midtown Centre is where the business, diversion and it are situated to shop locale. Stephen Road Walk and Barclay Shopping Centre are two well-known passerby zones. Calgary is home to an enormous number of high-rises with perception decks offering mind-blowing perspectives on the city and rough mountains. The most outstanding of these are the Bow and Calgary Pinnacle. There are likewise numerous family attractions including a top-notch zoo, entertainment meccas, greenhouses, and involved science place. While the city plays host to a few yearly celebrations of music, film and dance, the most renowned is the Calgary Charge, an Old West festival held north of 10 days in July with rodeos, chuckwagon races, marches and rivalries. Finally, thanks for watching this videos. See you again next time.